All right, so do you guys think Morgan and Vince are fucking?
Do you think that they were in the same hotel room, the same curtains, or you think it's just a coinky dink? You think he said period, or it's not like
I don't think Vinny's much of a perioder, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Period.
He didn't period one time that season, so I don't think he's perioding. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that guy.
Yeah, he doesn't need our clout because he so desperately wants it, obviously.
Yeah, but not that we have clout.
Yeah.
Not that we even know what that is. If you try to teach us, we'll punch you.
Yeah. Stop that.
But to give you guys a little forecast into what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be discussing the Sooki Sooki ideal for the perfect Big Brother season. So we've kind of taken a very academic approach. We've broken down a lot of things into categories. We've broken down the season into components, and then we're going to talk about, what we'd like to see.
If there's anything that you think is integral to a very good season, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not going to cover all the bases, but yeah, I mean, this, without further ado, welcome back to Sooki Sooki, the world's first Big Brother and Traders sports podcast. Yeah, let's just get it right into it. So we kind of academically divided the components of a perfect season up into 5 categories, and those 5 categories are
shelf life, strategic sophistication, human chemistry, cast likability, and production, of course.
Yeah, and to kind of wait. Oh my God, you guys almost had free content. You have to like, sub, or comment.
You have to do all 3.
I have to nag you. YouTube tells me I have to nag you. YouTube says I'm not ever going to be shit if I don't nag you. So like this so I can be shit.
Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share, save.
Yeah.
All of it. All the
connections
things.
On LinkedIn, all of it.
Yeah. Don't find me on LinkedIn. I'm scared. So
to, give you a brief little intro into every one of these categories, shelf life is how long a season remains interesting, strategic sophistication, pretty much self-explanatory. It's like, how interesting is the gameplay? Yeah. How big are the moves? How risky are the moves? Obviously, some of the greatest moments in Big Brother have come from people taking wild swings and it working. So
yeah,
it doesn't always have to be like intellectual, like I planned this. It could just be someone just fucking pulled something off that was amazing in the moment.
As long as the gameplay is interesting, because I mean, and we'll get into it, like we've seen some seasons where it feels like the gameplay is not intentional, but it's still interesting. So as long as people are playing the game and trying, that is really all that you need.
Well, that's not quite what this category is about, but yeah, no, I completely agree.
And then human chemistry is pretty self-explanatory. Like, what are the dynamics? I feel like it is human chemistry. What are the dynamics like? What are the relationships like? Are people hating each other? Are people liking each other?
A good example of like a fantastic human chemistry pairing is Morgan and Vince. Very fresh on our minds. These are 2 people who, if put in other situations, may not have shined the way that shown. May not have shined. It's shined, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like both could be
tell us in
correct.
The comments if it's shined or shown. But yeah, they clearly blossomed.
Yeah, and
because of each other.
If they were on separate seasons, like who knows? Like who knows if we would have gotten the versions of each of them that we got.
Yeah.
I was looking at cast likability. Cast likability is the one that I feel like is self-explanatory.
Yeah, cast likability is just cast likability. What do we like them?
Yeah.
Do the people, I mean, this matters less, but like, obviously sometimes the most likable people in the house is not the most likable people to us.
Yeah.
So cast likability is our perception of the cast, how we feel about them as people. Are they good people? Are they, anyway, we'll go deeper into it. And then lastly, and this is probably the biggest point of contention, is production intervention.
Yeah. What are the twists? How much are they involved? What is the cohesion between... Is there any cohesion between live feeds and the live show?
Yeah.
Shelf life. How long is the season interesting?
So, I mean, a perfect example for a good shelf life, and all of the good seasons we're talking about, they're not going to score perfectly in every category. You know, I think a good season is when you get like a 9 out of 10 on 3 of the 5 categories, you know?
Yeah.
And perfect obviously is, you know, it's not really perfect. It's just good. It's what we want out of a season.
Yeah. I feel like we've had a handful of seasons that have like a pretty good shelf life that are either start slow and then become interesting later, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like sometime, like season 26 was interesting to me the entire way through until the end because it was very clear that Chelsea was steamrolling. But 27 was interesting because it was interesting the entire time.
Yeah, and I feel like that almost never happens. And the 2 seasons that score the highest on shelf life are 17 and 27, in my opinion, just because those were down to the wire up until final 3. You really didn't know what was going to happen. And based on who won the final HOH, things could have shaken out completely differently. And so, and also an interesting thing about those 2 seasons in isolation is that there are other seasons that are interesting till the end, but it's usually between 2 people.
Yeah.
But those seasons, it felt like anybody could take it, you know?
Yeah, 17 was interesting because that's honestly a perfect example because there was so much chaos happening the entire time. Relationships were constantly changing. It's very similar to 27 in that way.
Yeah.
And you just had no idea who was going to win, and everybody thought Vanessa was going to win until she freaking crumbled in the end.
Yeah, I mean, like, epic choke jobs, both of them, you know? So it takes an element of like crumbling from a dominant player for it to happen generally. But I think the thing that kicks it off is by having an emotional cast, you know? I think like we as Big Brother fans think that we want a bunch of sophisticated game players and game bots. I think we think we want that. We think we'd be entertained by that. But I think we need an equal mix of both, you know?
Yeah, because it would be boring if we had only Derek's in a season or only Dan's. Like, that's why somebody, like a player like Vanessa is so good specifically because she was an excellent game player, but just like so emotional, so in her head. But a lot of the time her reads were accurate.
Yeah.
And she played the game hard. She made that season interesting. Like that season wouldn't be what it is without Vanessa.
And I personally, my favorite archetype of Big Brother player are the emotional strategic players because they'll turn their emotions into justifications for their strategy. And I mean, honestly, do some epic gaslighting that just makes everyone else at home included feel crazy.
Yeah.
But I do, in retrospect, I love those players. You know, I almost said Josh, the Vanessas, the Morgans, the Rachels, you know. And I also feel like the shelf life of the shelf life category is really like, how much bang are we getting for our buck every season?
Yeah, how much juice can we squeeze out of these contestants? What are we getting from them?
Like this season meaning 27, sorry to cut you off, I genuinely feel like I couldn't have missed an episode.
Yeah, and that is not how I felt in the beginning when I was watching it. Early on, I was just like, well, I wanted to give everybody the benefit of the doubt immediately. And I was like, all right, I like everybody. Everybody gets a clean slate. And then I'm always wary to say that I love a season immediately.
Yeah, me too.
It was definitely dramatic from the beginning. It was nonstop drama right off the bat, so grateful for that. But the gameplay to me did not actually get interesting until Rachel left.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like it wasn't going to get interesting until Rachel left, so I've said this in previous episodes. In retrospect, that was kind of like a blessing in disguise.
She's a martyr.
Literally, she's a martyr. And I love Rachel, and I think she didn't deserve to be done like that, but I think if she didn't go then, she wasn't going to go.
And also, like, it sucked how she left, but that also cements her place as a Big Brother legend. Like, you never went on the block, and technically you were not evicted by a vote that season.
Yeah.
You died a horrible, tragic death, but now somebody might start a cult in your name.
Yeah, I think it would be more convincing as a legendary moment if she didn't fucking fall to the ground and start crying at the end.
Yeah.
It was so clear that moment broke her, so it's hard to see that as her epic send-off. But
she's like, oh, I can't. I'm literally not a winner anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, I still respect her a lot. She really, even when she wasn't winning, she was trying her ass off, and it still meant something to her. You know, like these newbies, some of them weren't taking it as seriously as this person who's won already. Has been on 3 or 2 seasons. Like she's one of the goats, man. I love Rachel. And to going back to our topic, one last thing I wanted to mention for shelf life that is relevant is that I think the shelf life of a season, meaning how long it stays interesting, really has a lot to do with how cutthroat and how shaky the relationships are in the house.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's like how willing are people to make moves and get blood on their hands? Because I hate the seasons that are filled with like non-confrontational players that like will make moves and then as soon as there's any heat on them, they're like, it's like, dude, you made that move. That move was good.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Stand on business.
There's a lot of that this season.
There's a lot of that, but I would rather have like who were we watching just recently that we felt like was like, there's so many players on even 17 and 18 that I feel like we're just like, oh, this is the move I'm making. Suck it.
Yeah. And I think like, I mean, the great thing about 17 and 27 and why they're such good examples of this specific quality is because examine 27. We had Vinny, Ashley, and Morgan in the final 3. Mm-hmm. Who knew who was closer to who? All we knew was that Vinny and Ashley are not close.
Yeah.
That's all we knew.
That's the only thing we were for certain about.
Yeah, we were like maybe Morgan would stay true to Vinny, but also maybe she's scared of being seen as a homewrecker. Maybe Vinny will stay true to Morgan, or maybe he wants to win that money.
Yeah.
It was just like there was no true, like when Matt and Jag were in the final 2, or like when Matt was in Matt and Jag were in the final 3, it was pretty clear who was going to take who to the end, you know?
Yeah, Jag was going to take Matt, and I've had if
there's
Matt,
more loyalty and there.
Yeah.
More solid of a relationship. And also 17 is the exact same. Vanessa, Steve, and Liz, who I don't even think any of them liked each other.
I think Steve and Vanessa liked each other on like a personal level, but they were both just like gaming too hard that they saw each other and they're like, you are my largest obstacle in the game. I must rid myself of you.
Yeah, and that takes people who are there for the right reasons, you know? Like the worst is when Big Brother is friendly in a way that feels forced, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing that I hate about this new era of TV is because everybody's trying to, you know, gain opportunities from these, which I can't really blame them because, like, why else are you going on a reality show? But people are so...
Get that bag, son.
People are so aware of their perceptions and they care about it. Like, I don't want to watch any more shows where people are like, no, your feelings are so valid. Fucking invalidate them. Punch them in their emotional heart. Something that you wrote down on here that we've talked about is, like, the Macbeth meter. Yeah. And Macbeth is a perfect... parallel for honestly I think most reality TV. I want people whose ambition is so big it's gonna kill everybody.
Yeah. And dude, it was annoying to watch Vinny for the exact reason you just mentioned, but it also made him one of the more compelling characters we've had because he gives a fuck, man.
He cares too much.
And you can say a lot about Vinny, you can say a lot of mean things about Vinny, but in a Big Brother season, he's a welcome sight, you know?
Yeah, and we did get like a sliver of like authenticity from him when he finally crashed out in front of Frankie in the backyard.
Yeah,
like,
we saw the real him every time he like lost his temper.
Yeah, every time he felt like he was about to lose or leave, we saw his true colors because he was just like, this is all I have left.
He was such a fucking gremlin, dude.
Are we Vinny supporters now?
I'm not a Vinny supporter because I genuinely don't subscribe to that genre of men, but I like him as a Big Brother player. I'll say that. I like
him. I don't want to see him on any more things, but also I do.
He played a really unique game, which is something that I feel like we've said in the past will only work because of this specific cast of characters. But the more I think about it, I'm just like he's clearly really good at getting people to sympathize with him, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like, you know, we saw Derek invent the game that he played, and then we've seen people replicate it similarly. Like, we've seen Chelsea play a similar game.
Let's just move on to our next category because we're talking about strategy now.
Yeah, strategic sophistication.
Yeah, and again, this does not necessarily mean that you have a master plan going into the house. It just it could equally mean that you're reacting to new stimulus and information well.
I feel like a season with good strategic sophistication includes everybody who's trying their hardest and is intentionally playing, that is constantly questioning things like maybe like I know this is technically a player, but I feel like 18 honestly had a good amount of strategic sophistication.
Yeah.
That's not in any of our case studies, but I think about that
season
moment.
Scores low in a lot of different categories. That's why. But the strategy of that season was really interesting.
Yeah, like I think about Bridget specifically in that moment where Polly's game is about to get sunk, and she goes to Paul and she's like, I asked Polly who his number one was, and I thought he was going to say you, and then it wasn't you. Like that season had a lot of really interesting strategy.
Yeah, and it was like a lot of people fighting from a position of weakness, you know?
Yeah.
And again, that season had a lot of people who were not loyal to each other. So it made it very interesting to like watch week to week who was going to turn on who was going to befriend who, you know, enemies to lovers when their enemies are the same person.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, that season does score high in strategic sophistication. Paulie, as much as we hate him, he played a pretty airtight game until he started power tripping, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he was very well aligned. He was very well aligned from the beginning, and he was capable of winning competitions, but he's just like not a good human being inside. So we saw him break and crack down, and
in the same way that Vinny rehabbed Paulie rehabbed Vinny for me.
Yeah, I feel that way as well. Yeah,
because we got to see what a true piece of shit looks like. You know, this Vinny guy, he's playing in the minor leagues, homie.
I feel like Vinny probably does hold some similar views that Paulie does, like the amount of times that he said, Ashley doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
But I feel like he has enough, like he cares too much about his perception that he would never let him say some of the things that Paulie said about Natalie. Like,
you know what it really is that Paulie is a Vinny that was born in Jersey. Or maybe a better way to say it is Vinny is a Paulie that was born in LA. You know?
Yeah, and is Vinny an only child?
Yeah, he's an only child.
Okay, well that makes
he has a brother. He has a brother.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? Interesting. I wonder if they both have like inferiority complexes with their brother, because it's so clear that Paulie is so, you're never gonna be Cody, and you know it.
Yeah, man. I don't even want to give him another breath because he's honestly, like the other day I was watching 18. We were rewatching 18, and I was getting so mad. I was like, I wanted to go out and find him.
No.
I'm just kidding, but he is a piece of shit. Not news to anybody. Everybody knows he's a piece of shit. Yet he still gets to appear on TV.
People like to hate watch him. And hopefully, you know, he doesn't do well in the challenge and somebody beats him up in the challenge. Not really, but like that is where that would happen. I think that's the only place we would get to see him get beat up is the challenge.
I think all of game show fandom would collectively jizz if CT beat the fuck out of Paulie.
You know what? I feel like Paulie would do well in like who's the Paul brother that's a fighter, or they're both fighters? I feel like he should go fight one of the Paul brothers. Paulie should go fight the Pauls.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess this might be a good time to talk about the different kinds of players. You know, we have a lot of terms associated with players in Big Brother. We have floater, we have, you know, puppet master, all these different terms. I think there's a further specification we can do, you know, because not all floaters are the same.
Yeah.
There are some floaters that are there by virtue of other people carrying them, and then there's some floaters who are genuinely just chameleons and they're in the background. So we kind of further divided up some of the more common Big Brother archetypes into some categories. So since we're talking about strategy, I think that there are two different types of strategists, like we mentioned earlier. You know, there's the planners and then there's the wingers.
Yeah.
So, like we said, Derek, planner, Vanessa, winger.
Yeah, Derek is somebody who like definitely had a long-term plan, like could see several steps ahead, whereas Vanessa kind of seemed like more of a intuitive player. Like she's going based on gut, like, oh, this person said this thing this way in this tone, so I think you're coming for me, and actually I am correct.
Let's go through a couple of people because this is an interesting kind of game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What do we think Morgan is? Is she a planner or winger?
She's a winger. She's going based on feeling.
But she's doing both, though, because she's the one who's counting votes every week, who's setting up the next 2 weeks so that she and Vinny could be safe, you know?
She's just not... It's hard for me to fully let her be a planner because she's not even aware of the moves that she made. So how can you plan what you don't know?
But she clearly was laying a lot of groundwork for the future for her and Vinny.
Yeah, like she was staying up late counting M&Ms, you know, like, so there's an element of planning and strategizing, but she was also like her amount of emotion and delusion made her plan. Yeah. She winged so hard she planned.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because she would make initial decisions based on emotion, you know, like her initial decision to get rid of Lauren, totally emotion. She's, you know, Pick Misha. So
Pick Misha.
I saw that on TikTok today, so I stole it. But
that's funny.
But the way it wound out, it actually did work out strategically for them, you know?
Yeah.
And then the way she continued that is by dominating comps, setting up the nomination block in a way that benefited both, not really both her and Vinny, specifically her, even though she kept saying up and down is for both of them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and we always go back to this, but full immunity since jury, that really allowed her the freedom to just plan and wing and go based on gut because she was always safe. Yeah. So it gave her space to just really think about things, and sometimes she was thinking too much, and sometimes she never slept.
Yeah, she's an interesting one because she kind of would go from mode to mode. She would be incredibly clinical and strategic one moment and then lose it the next. And similar with Vanessa, I feel like she was partly planning. She was definitely planning less because she was always considering herself like on the outs.
Yeah, and I feel like depending on where the power was in that week, which most of the time it was with her or her alliance, but she was very good at like separating herself from a lot of situations just because of how emotional she was. People were like, oh, we believe you because there's no way this emotion is not genuine, so therefore you're not our target, and it's actually these people.
She's so interesting because she banged the loyalty drum a lot that season, but she actually played kind of like a in the middle game if you think about it, which is like, I think that's the main differentiator between her and Morgan is that Morgan never played the middle. She was one side of the house essentially. Yeah,
you always knew who Morgan did not like, and it was probably Lauren always.
So I feel like that leads to Morgan being more of a planner because she is more able to see, like she can predict what's going to happen based on who's HOH, you know? Vanessa has to kind of adapt because she never had a number one, really.
Yeah.
She never had a solid, like, this is my puppy dog.
Yeah, I feel like Vanessa is almost like a combo of Morgan and Vinny because anytime she would be in hot water, what?
It's so true.
Yeah, she's like she's like their child, but somehow reversed. Yeah. Like if they had a child, it would be Vanessa because
it's like she birthed both of them, but either of them only inherited one side of her personality.
Yeah, because anytime she like you said, Morgan was completely loyal. We always knew where her loyalties were, who she was friends with, who she wanted to save. But Vanessa,
dude, she was not gonna take Vinny.
Wait, let me finish this thought.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Vanessa was similar to Vinny in that anytime she was in hot water and somebody would be like, well, this is why I'm upset with you. She, like, that week that she should have gone home up against Shelly, she was like, oh, by the way, so-and-so is a rat and she's teaming up with Shelly, so you should keep me here.
Becky.
Like, yeah, so-and-so, no, but she was on the block against Shelly. Oh. That's why Shelly went home, is because of her association with Becky. Yeah. So Vanessa is similar to Vinny in that when she's in a corner, she's crying and she is throwing somebody else under the bus with some information that she heard about 2 weeks ago, which is what he would do.
Dude, the prophecy has been fulfilled.
Yeah. Like, remember when Mickey almost put up Vinny and he was like, no, wait, Jimmy did this.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. They're very similar to Vanessa. Like, both of them are one side of her personality. It's kind of incredibly uncanny.
They're both each a side of the coin.
Yeah.
The Vanessa coin.
So that's one category of players. So like the strategy-based players can be divided up into planners versus wingers. Mm-hmm. Then the the kind of like, laid back, sit back, floater type games, I feel like that can be divided up into the players who are intentional about their anonymity. I don't know if that's the right word, but like, their lack of attention in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was their intent versus people who are just being strung along like a Victoria Raffaelli,
Was that her last name?
Raffaelli? I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Sounds so Italian.
I think she's Armenian, which isn't that far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so a good example of the two categories of
floater
are sleeper and goats.
Yeah.
And goat, if you didn't know, is a term used in the Big Brother community to describe people who don't do shit and make it to the end, basically.
Yeah, they're just like useless, eating up resources and providing
just
nothing.
A goat like chewing up your hat.
Yeah.
Which is a perfect analogy for Victoria, because she did chew up a hat.
She literally chewed up a hat.
Yeah.
That moment was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Because you could tell Zach was really upset. But somebody who's a sleeper, I honestly feel like Ashley is low-key a sleeper, because she didn't really do anything, and she was just kind of like, taking in information from people that are around her, and then in the end she was strategizing harder than we were able to even see on the actual show.
Another sleeper is she's kind of in between sleeper and goat, is Brittany on her first season.
You think so?
Yeah, because she wasn't winning a lot of comps, and she was in an alliance that didn't really have her back, so she was kind of being strung along.
Yeah, I mean, she always had a pretty good read on the house, but yeah, she didn't have like any alliances really. Like she was close with that, what's his name? Lane
and the Brigade.
She was close with the Brigade, but she wasn't really fully aligned with them or in an alliance. Like she felt only close with, I think her name was Monique, and then Monique went home. Or Monet? Monet.
She was but the thing is that she was, maybe she's more of a goat than a sleeper. Because now that I'm thinking about it, there's really no better example of a sleeper than Ashley, because she's the only one to ever win her first HOH and the final HOH. Like, it doesn't get more sleeper than that, Yeah,
and as soon as like Will and Rachel left, we really saw her go to work. Like, and there was a moment I saw from the live feeds where she was like, "All right, I gotta go to work. I can't just like sit here now." And the beginning of her season was so interesting because we were just seeing people go to bat for her and be like, "You can't put her up. Don't put her up. I'll come for you." Like literally Amy started crying the second she found out Ashley was on the block. Yeah. So she's definitely a sleeper.
She was afforded the ability to sleep as much as she did because Rachel was there, But then that's what kind of defines a sleeper for me, is that they know when to turn it on.
Yeah.
They're taking a nap. That's all it is. And then as soon as Rachel left, she woke the fuck up, Would
you consider a player, she's not anywhere in our case studies, but would you consider somebody like Casey a sleeper? Because I feel like she had like a very invisible game, but she was incredibly well aligned and then started winning a lot in the second half.
I wouldn't consider her a sleeper because she won too many comps for that, but like that does feel similar,
Yeah.
And like by the eye test, it kind of feels that way. Mm-hmm. But no, she's not, just because she falls more in the next category of player, which is now we're getting into the comp beasts. Unless you had anything else to say about sleepers.
No, I feel like there's not a whole lot we can really say about sleepers and goats, because
there's a whole lot of goats. Only like 2 sleepers, really.
I think Jordan is a goat.
Yeah.
Sorry,
She's a goat winner. So next up, we get into the competition beast side. Again, and these are, and again, it's split it up into 2. One half, which is workhorse. And this is exemplified by somebody like a Matt. Not really. Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Like a Mackenzie, a Cody.
Mm-hmm.
There's other examples I can't think of. There's tons of these guys who are just, they win comps for their people and not in a way that gives them advantage to go. Like it's not going to win them the game.
Yeah.
They're doing it in a way that's not winning them the game. That is the workhorse. They're kind of being used by either a dominant strategist or a dominant social player.
They're being used by a Chelsea or a Derek.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not to say it's a bad thing, but it is to say that you're probably getting second.
Jag was kind of a workhorse, but he ended up winning. Like, he did get evicted, but then the second he came back in, he was like, and I'm going to carry Matt like my little backpack to the end.
You're right. Jag is a workhorse, but he also happened to be a dominant strategy player, in my opinion. So he was definitely like, I don't know if he was a planner or a winger, but because he won so many comps, he was able to like really enact his plans to the best of his ability. And the other side, which are comp beasts that have to win for themselves because they get targeted early on. And someone who falls under this category is somebody like Keanu, you know? Like a guy who really just had to fight tooth and nail to stay in the house, not only because he was targeted early on, but because he just had an awful read.
Yeah, I mean, he got targeted early on, which is not really his fault because, like, Jimmy fucked up his... I want to see Keanu on a season where there's not a Jimmy fucking him up that's forcing him to be... He had bad reads, like you said, but he was...
Yeah, we can't blame it all on Jimmy, but he definitely was the catalyst.
Yeah, he got put into a position where he was like, all right, so I'm the target, therefore I'm going to make myself an even bigger target and pick you all off one by one.
Yeah, he just had... He didn't read the house well. He thought he was more well-liked than he was. And that's often a quality of the lone wolf, is just not having a great read, you know? Another lone wolf, Angela.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And she didn't necessarily have a bad read, but she just did not know how to react to the information.
Yeah, she was too emotional. And, I mean, I've said this comparison before. She's literally like the Nostradamus of Big Brother, where she's just throwing out so much shit out there. And enough of it was true that it gave her credibility to stick around in the game.
Yeah.
And people like the lone wolves kind of... It's not a great strategy because we don't really see the lone wolves win, but we've seen it take these people far because people are realizing like
we saw one lone wolf win.
Who?
Rachel.
I guess you consider her a lone wolf.
In her second season, I consider her more of a lone wolf than a workhorse, but she was also a great strategist. So
yeah, and she also had Brendan like fighting for her in the jury house, which I feel like makes her less alone when she has an ally somewhere else.
True. Yeah, you can't really be a lone wolf when your fucking fiance is in the house, I guess.
Somebody who I actually do feel like is a lone wolf is Danielle. And that's because she is...
Donato?
Yeah, it's because she's evil. Like, not evil, but like, she's just so removed from the game that she's like, whatever, dude, I'm going to do what I have to do to survive.
Yeah, but like, this is specific. Is she a comp beast?
She's a comp beast, yeah.
But she was winning for both her and Dick, though. So
yeah, but I feel
she was trying to keep her alliance. Like a lone wolf, in my mind, is somebody who has no allies.
I feel like her second season, she was more of a lone wolf. The second that like Dominic went home and everybody was just like, "You're evil."
That's interesting. Has there ever been a lone wolf winner? Josh? No,
because he got carried a little bit by Paul. Because Paul was like, oh, I can obviously win against you because everybody hates you.
He's not really a lone wolf either because he didn't win like that many competitions.
I would almost consider... I guess I can't really consider Mitchie a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Because he had control the entire time. We don't have a ton of lone wolf winners because it's just so hard to play that game when you make yourself a target. But I feel like we are in this newer era of Big Brother. People are like, I want to keep the lone wolf in here because as long as there's a bigger target in here, nobody's looking at me.
And people are almost like willingly playing the lone wolf game now because of how they saw Angela fare, you know?
Oh yeah. They were like
there's like she inspired people to be like, if I'm going to be a target, I'm going to be the biggest target, you know? Because then at least people will use me as a shield and keep me here, which is true. Like Keanu made it pretty damn far.
I feel like Dan Giesling in his first season had kind of a lone wolf situation where...
There's definitely more workhorses than there are lone wolves because more people are, want to be aligned with people.
What category does Frank fall under? Because he always had like another number one ally.
Yeah.
But is capable of winning competitions and usually is not well aligned.
Yeah, he's fighting for his life in both his seasons. So he's kind of like a close to a lone wolf. He's definitely more of a lone wolf than a workhorse. But yeah, again, there's only like two true lone wolves that I can think of. Yeah. And even Angela had Tucker at one point,
Yeah.
So Keanu really is the only true lone wolf because he didn't have a goddamn ally.
He's the loneliest wolf.
I know.
He thought everybody was his ally.
That's what it takes to be a lone wolf. because otherwise you're going to be trying to ally yourself with other people.
Yeah, the only way that you can survive as a lone wolf is if you have a delusional read on the game.
Yeah.
Like mentally, that's the only way to survive.
Yeah. And next we go into the social players. And, sleepers are kind of social players, but this is like a person like, maybe this category doesn't really make sense.
This category makes sense to me. I can think of several examples right now.
Oh, okay.
Our next category is cult leader versus undercover agent.
Yeah. Social players?
Yeah, these are social players. These are strategic social players. I feel like if you watch season 19, the way that shit played out, Paul was a very cult-like leader in that season.
Another example. I mean, Paul was probably the biggest example just because he was the visible leader.
Yeah.
And like oftentimes the cult leader is a big attention getter, but because of how loyal people are to him, he's insulated.
Yeah, and I feel like Chelsea also can fall under this category a little bit, which is very like perfect for the pastor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like Mackenzie, the way that she followed her, and just people were so afraid of touching her.
Yeah.
So I feel like she falls under that category as well.
I think the first cult leader I can think of is Maggie Austin. And that's literally her nickname.
Wait, that's not her last name, right?
Oh, yeah, Osborne.
We always get it wrong. Maggie Osborne. Yeah, she's very cult leader, but she was cult leader just because she was like a decent human being.
No, but she had a sway over. I mean, yeah, she was kind and she seemed to be a nice person, but she was on the block multiple times on eviction night. She didn't win that many comps, and yet she was never in danger. And that amount of control, and especially because everyone knew how smart she was.
Yeah.
They all knew how smart she was. I think that is the characteristic quality of a cult leader, is that everyone knows exactly what's going on. They just can't get to them because of their fucking congregation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we've already talked about Derek, but where do you feel like he falls under? Because I feel like he's somewhere
more undercover, I think.
In between, in that like
people only started realizing his influence towards the end of the game.
Yeah, when it was too late.
Yeah, so he wasn't in danger, and the fact that he wasn't nominated shows that he wasn't really seen as a big threat until it was too late. You know?
He's very undercover agent.
Yeah, I mean, the way he had sway over Cody was definitely a little like cult leader-ish, but you could say he falls somewhere in the middle just because he had so much control, but he wasn't like in the public eye the way that Paul is, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's literally the friendship king. Everyone called him that.
Yeah. Paul, I think
that is like a cult leader name, dude.
He's our prime example they're our prime example of a cult leader.
Yeah. And that's not to say that Paul is not a good strategy player either, but I think he's more of a social player because his entire game is contingent on having everyone's ear, you know?
Yeah, Paul fits so many categories actually. Like
he's just a great player.
Aside from, them, they didn't have like great jury management, but I do feel like they fit into a lot of these categories. Like they're I would say that they are overall pretty well-rounded as a player.
Yeah. So that just kind of like we wanted to bring those up. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Cult leader versus undercover agent.
No, I just meant like why did we bring up the categories? Where were we in the flow of the categories? Did we start talking about human chemistry yet?
No, we haven't started that yet.
Okay.
Now we can move on to human chemistry.
Yeah, human chemistry is a really, really, really important category for me specifically because I don't like perfectly clean seasons of Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I have a fondness for season 16 because of how many goated players have come out of that season, but not fun to watch. Yeah,
overall it was pretty clear who was going to win. It was very predictable. Like whoever Derek and his alliance were targeting that week was probably who was going home. And I almost feel like season 26 was slightly similar.
Yeah.
At least towards the end, it became more predictable. But human chemistry is so important because if at least like in examples of 27, if you at the very least don't have good intentional gameplay, the drama will save it. It will set us free.
Yeah. And it felt like for a lot of the game, a lot of people were stumbling through their game in terms of how intentional they were, but as soon as the fucking emotions kicked in, people locked in.
Yeah.
People, like, as soon as, like we were mentioning earlier, Morgan really was the catalyst to this. And actually, that's a good point to mention, that is one of the most important things about the human chemistry of a given season, is you need catalysts, which are people who are going to do shit for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. A really good example of a human catalyst, I feel like, would be like Tucker.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, I'm going to fuck the game up just because I feel like it and I'm on a TV show and I want to be entertaining, and that's the whole point.
Or like the original Tucker, rants.
Yeah. Yes.
So these guys are like, you know, no one thinks they're good game players, but they're so necessary because they're the ones who break the ice and tell everybody, oh, we're not playing happy-go-lucky anymore. We're actually going to start going at each other. Yeah,
Rance walked so Tucker could win. Like, Tucker was so ready to stir shit up. Like, as soon as he found out about Quinn's power, he was like, hey, everybody, look over here. Quinn has a power.
Yeah. And Quinn, to a certain extent, also felt a little bit like that, you know? Because of all the shit talk he was doing behind people's backs. Yeah, I mean,
he is, like, also a low-key early Vinny without, you know, the mess and the cry, because
a much more likable guy.
Quinn, I love you. I love you. I want to see you again. You are nowhere near the same as Vinny. However, you did have like 8 final 2s by day 2, which is what he did. So don't do that. But yeah, those are some good examples. And honestly, Angela is a good example of a human catalyst.
Yeah.
I feel like
she wasn't even doing it intentionally. She was just being herself. And I feel like, as much as I hate to say it, like, the human catalysts generally are cloud chasers, or people who either care really a lot about being liked by their allies or liked by the fans at home.
Yeah.
So these are not people that I love usually in the Big Brother house, but they serve a very vital function to the ecosystem, because I think we discount the importance of bad blood to a Big Brother season, you know?
Yeah, I honestly think we have a lot of examples of human catalysts, and sometimes they're the people who go home immediately. Like I feel like Devin.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Devin, season 16, for sure human catalyst, like, kicked that season off to a hot start, man. Just like, I'm going to form an alliance with half the house. And also, I think Donnie is an undercover sniper.
Yeah, there's always, I mean, it seems like every season really has one or two, but the really good ones are the ones who have a little bit more staying power, you know? If they're able to be there being catalysts for, you know, like 4, 5, 6 weeks, that's how you get a season like 26 where, like, every week the veto is being used and what the fuck is happening and why did he take Angela off, and, you know, like, shit was just unpredictable, you know?
Yeah,
and it's because we had all these different personalities bumping heads.
Yeah.
And then, like, we also need the sneak dissers, man. Like, we need people who are going to be whispering in the background. Yeah, and maybe Quinn's more of a sneak disser than a catalyst. But we need people, because those are the people who prolong the drama, you know, because the explosion happens. Then you need people murmuring about it and being like, why is this blah, 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 blah.
Can I say one more thing about Devin?
Yeah.
I wonder, not that, like, I think he's a smart strategic player or that I even really want to see him on my screen again, but I wonder, because now we've seen, like, the Keanus and the Angelas make it further just for sheer fact that, like, they're shielding everybody else. I wonder if he would be able to make it a lot further in a modern season now. And he's capable of winning.
I think unequivocally yes, because of the blockbuster. I mean, the reason why honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the reason why lone wolves exist is because of the blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very new thing, because before, if you're a lone wolf, you're out. Just like that. You're backdoored. Bye.
Yeah. Would we consider Tucker also a lone wolf?
No, but he was included in several dominant alliances that he just kind of blew up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sneak dissers are important because I feel like they make the drama bigger than what it is.
Yeah, and then, like, the game of telephone is what amplifies these, like what happened with Keanu, you know? He said one innocuous thing, Jimmy's coming after him now, you know, because of the game of telephone. So all of that is good. All of that is great. You need people to not like each other. You need distrust to sow. Obviously, too much of it, and it gets to be, like, taxing to watch because it's just too toxic, you know? You need a good balance of, like, this and the next category.
I just want to see if there's anything else I think about.
Oh.
Chemistry. Oh, sorry. Did we talk about ABC yet?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So with the catalyst and everything else, if you have these things, you kind of lead yourself down three paths.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you do a good job of casting, and there are people who are willing to stir shit up, and there are people who are talking shit, one of three things will happen. Either bad blood will sow, alliances will crumble, and people will stop trusting each other, and it'll become a very fractured house. Or we'll see people who have a real connection rise to the top.
Yeah.
Or they all fall apart and then they come back together.
Which is also nice.
Yeah, which is also nice.
Yeah, season 27 and 17, I feel like are good examples of the first ones where it felt like nobody really liked each other, and alliances were immediately fractured very early on. People started turning against each other, Mickey on Jimmy, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and like season 26 is a different case of this, which is that there was a lot of bad blood, there was a lot of shit talk and people calling each other out, but the people who were truly loyal to each other just stayed loyal to each other, like Cam and Chelsea.
Yeah, Mackenzie and Chelsea, like, they're still friends. They took each other to the end. Well, Mackenzie took Chelsea to the end.
They formed their relationship after all the drama kicked off, though.
Yeah, and I felt like season 26 was great because I didn't feel like I was watching a bunch of people who actually hated each other. I felt like I was watching a ton of people who just really desperately wanted to play the game and were fans.
It definitely felt like that after Angela left, but when Angela was going at Lisa, that felt pretty personal. You know?
There was definitely some hard moments to watch in the beginning, like when she was freaking crying in the fridge, and then like nobody was comforting her, and they were just like
she's
standing
kind of
and
a
looking
catalyst in her own right. Like, she didn't do it to be on TV or be clouded, but she's just delulu enough where she was pissing people off by virtue of being herself. So
yeah, she's kind of interesting. She is definitely a human catalyst by just freaking throwing edible glitter everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Tip for if you're going in the Big Brother house, don't do that.
So human chemistry goes hand in hand with this next category, and there needs to be a balance between these two categories because the next category is cast likability. And when we get into a situation where there's too much chemistry happening and not enough likability, kind of like the middle of season 27, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Where it was a little too many emotional explosions and people getting mistreated and not enough like people doing fun shit that makes us like them. And so we just end up hating everybody. And that's not to say it stayed that way, but it can lead to seasons where it becomes incredibly toxic, like season 19.
I was literally just thinking, like, season 19 is a perfect example of, like, there's no balance between human chemistry and cast likability. That season was so hard to watch because it was just, like, there was no limits to what people were doing to each other or saying, and it just felt, like, bad the whole way through.
And obviously, that's a case of balance gone wrong, but you get a case of balance gone right, it would be like 17. I know we keep mentioning 17, but I honestly, in retrospect, that's probably my favorite season.
Yeah, it's an interesting season the entire way through.
Yeah.
There's nonstop drama because of it. Honestly, like, that season without Vanessa, like, I feel like she is like the fucking core of what goes wrong and right in that season.
100%. She kind of, she fulfills all of these categories by herself, actually.
Yeah. Vanessa is the best season of Big Brother.
Because that's the thing, man. People probably hated her when they were watching her, but in retrospect, like, she wasn't doing anything mean-spirited. She wasn't doing anything that was, like, personally attacking anybody else.
Yeah. Every time she fucked somebody over, she was like, oh, I have been genuinely pushed into this position. Like, you made me do this.
Yeah, and that's not always true, but, at least it never became, like, you're ugly or anything like that, The worst she got was when she was like, oh, you must be, like, silly. That's as bad as she got, really.
Yeah, I personally don't feel like the bullying in that season was as bad as some of the other seasons. Like, we've mentioned, like, 19 is not fun to watch. Honestly, some parts of 18, I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I mean, 18 got really ugly at certain points. Like what Paulie said to some of the girls, that's horrible. That's not nice, and that is a case of cast likability tanking way below the human chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, 18 is not a bad season.
No.
It's interesting, but the likability factor is low because there's just a lot of people who are like, they have good moments, but then you're looking at them and you're like, but you also said this other thing that's like, I can't really get behind.
Yeah, I honestly feel like 27, despite it not having like the most intentional gameplay or overall like most likable characters, I feel like
good balance.
It has an excellent balance between those two.
Yeah, because like, again, it's a season where nobody was likable the entire time. Not even a single person was likable the entire. Even Rachel had her moments where I was like, "Oh, bitch, shut the fuck up."
Just do less. Just do a little bit less in the situation.
But they all had redeeming qualities. Ashley, as entitled as she was funny. She was, smart. Everybody had their likable characteristics, and nobody was like a full-on piece of shit to each other. Nobody was. It did get personal in moments, and I would prefer for things to not get personal, but obviously sometimes you get into the heat of the game and it's hard not to say, Keanu, no one likes you.
Ashley won me over because she was Vinny's foil.
Yeah, she was Vinny's foil.
Like, dude, you tried to get her out in the first week and then she owned you and won. She only lost by 1 vote.
Yeah.
Or I mean, he lost.
You only got 1 vote.
He only got 1 vote.
Yeah.
It was just Morgan.
From Morgan. Yeah. I think 27 and 17 are probably my 2 picks for like the perfect balance of likability and chemistry. Again, they don't have to be sunshine, rainbow, happy people all the time. You can be likable when you're upset,
Yeah. I also feel like 14 is a really good example of balance the coaches season.
Yeah.
I feel like there was enough drama happening the entire time, like especially as soon as the coaches entered the game, then it was like, all right, we're fucked, we regular people.
Yeah.
And I need to rewatch it because I'm sure now if I rewatch it, I'll be like, why did Dan lose? Like, this is obviously a bitter jury. But I remember like watching it and being like, I am so happy Dan lost.
Yeah. That's the thing. He's not a very likable player, but he is a great player.
He's an excellent player.
Every time he wins, I'm like,
you're the man.
I hate to say it, but you're kind of the king.
You're the GOAT.
Yeah.
If only he didn't do that season of Traders, he'd stay the GOAT.
But in retrospect, that season of Traders only happened because everyone's like, this guy is the GOAT. Like, we need to get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah, everybody was like, you're not talking enough, and we've seen you.
Yeah.
He's like, so what?
Yeah, that's true. They got him because he wasn't being Dan enough.
Yeah, they were like, we're suspicious that Dan is not being Dan. Dan's not being Dan in front of our eyes, therefore we are scared that he's being Dan behind our backs. What's he doing, dude? He's a murderer.
He is a murderer, man. I mean, that's a guy who is completely separating emotions in game. Yeah. Does he have emotions? I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
I've never seen him break.
He's a robot. I think people were going to come for him regardless because they're just like, we're fucking scared of your ass. We're scared of you. We saw the funeral speech and we're scared.
All right, next up, our final category, and honestly, the most pertinent category, I think. And, if you're a big brother or intern and you're scrolling social media and you come across this video, I want you to report this to your boss, okay? Because this is probably, in my opinion, the most controllable and the second most important to me category, which is production intervention. Yeah,
because it could very easily be bad and it could very easily be great. There's definitely a fine balance between like how much involvement they have.
Yeah, and it's the only thing that's capable of overriding everything else. It doesn't matter how great the shelf life is. It's not going to have a good shelf life if the twist fucks it up. It doesn't matter how strategic or sophisticated the strategy is. It doesn't matter how much people are blown up at each other, how likable everybody is. If there's a twist that just ruins the game,
Yeah.
And a big part of this is knowing when to end certain twists, like the blockbuster and even the battle of the block. Honestly, in a vacuum, great idea. Makes the early game more unpredictable. Stops dominant alliances from taking over. Artificially induces a little bit of human chemistry just by virtue of more blood being spilled.
Yeah, and those twists are great because they speed up the game immediately. Like, it's the first week and I have to nominate 3 people, or it's the first week and there's 2 HOHs and 4 nominees and I might go from being HOH to home.
Yeah.
Those are great, but those also need to end early for the rest of the game to resume. They're more of like all right, let's kickstart this season. Let's make it speed up fast. And then I feel like those things should end like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Week 4 or 5.
It's like, I completely agree with everything you're saying. Like a good example of how it interfered with the game and kind of, I mean, it didn't ruin the season, but it did interfere with the game is this year when they let the blockbuster go until well into jury. Two people into a 7-person jury, which is very, very late in the game. At one point, somebody had to nominate 3 people when there were 5 people in the house.
Yeah, it went on too long, and obviously we've talked about the Rachel twist, and it ended up making the season better, but I don't think that a twist should happen like that late in the game. Like, I mean,
honestly, a hard and fast rule in my mind is just no elimination twists.
Yeah, post jury, like no elimination twists at least once jury begins.
I don't even think there should be elimination twists at the beginning of the game because I feel like that goes against Big Brother as a social game.
Yeah, well, we're watching 18 right now, and that one had an elimination twist. We immediately see somebody go home, and it's kind of not fair because it's like the old guy who can't physically compete as well as some of these younger people, and it's like a weird balancing game. So that's kind of not fair, but at least they did a battle back. Yeah,
he had multiple chances, but again, all of it was contingent on competitions, you know. Yeah. I think the spirit of an elimination game is antithetical to good gameplay because it basically means that if you start at the beginning if you put an elimination twist at the beginning, it's like you're starting the game with 15 house guests, you know?
Yeah.
You might as well just start the game with 15 house guests because at that point nobody knows each other. They're just going to pick the person who is least like them, you know, if it's up to the house guest, like in the coaches season when they had to vote out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the way that they did it in 18 was okay because it's not like people got to vote anybody out, but then it does skew for the people who can't physically compete. And an example of a twist that I feel like was not fair, but I didn't mind it, but I just feel like it wasn't fair was the roadkill in 18. Like, you get to anonymously put somebody up, and also if they come down with the veto, you get to anonymously renominate. Like, that feels kind of not fair.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Big Brother's never going to fully take their hands off of the twist machine. You know, they like pushing those buttons, pulling those levers.
Yeah.
But a good season is a season where there's one really impactful twist, and that's it. You know, like the twin twist, I think, is great.
Yeah.
Because that sowed so much suspicion, and it drew lines down the middle based on who liked Liz and who didn't, you know?
Yeah, and it also made the gameplay interesting because once people found out that Liz was a twin, people were like, oh, so you're technically 2 votes when you get in here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to align with you. We're going to protect you, and then you're going to be on our side. And like that fucking took her to final 2.
Yeah, and that twist gave the players an element of choice, you know? And that's kind of my like general critique for anything production based is that it should give the players a choice. It never should be a fast and hard rule.
Yeah, like I like the twist that they did this season where it was like, okay, you get this power, but also if Riley can figure out who has the power through interviewing everybody, then you don't get to have the power.
Yeah.
Something that would have not been fair is like, is Zach getting to use his $10,000 and the HOH has no choice? No one's gonna fucking turn down $10,000, but it's like,
especially not the fucking aura goblin. So
yeah, but like they don't even get a choice. Or like the coup d'etat, another example of a twist that's so unfair. Oh, you just get to nominate this person right before the eviction, and they have no time to save themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not going to stop with the twist, but I just hope that it's in a way that's unintrusive to the gameplay, you know? Or if you're going to have a twist, I think you should announce it beforehand.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And at the very least, I don't think those twists should ever be late in the game because at this point, it's like you can fuck up the things that people have worked for, and the gameplay at that point is just so delicate and complicated that it's really not fair for production to intervene. They need to cut themselves off at a certain point, but they're not gonna.
I mean, it's not the only way they intervene too, because they obviously have their hands, their little fingers all over the competitions. They're clearly trying to push it towards a more the challenge type vibe. where it's a little bit more competition based. It's more aimed towards a younger audience who don't have to sit there and like think about the strategy and this and that. They can just see who wins the competition and who's saying the most slay thing. And I hate that direction, you know, because that's fundamentally not what Big Brother is. Yeah. But I think the more concerning aspect of the change is that the live feeds are getting further and further from the edited episodes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's giving us a product that's just not true, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like a different version of false advertising because like we weren't I didn't start off watching the live feeds, at least for this season, and then at some point we were like, "Oh shit, there's a ton of stuff that we are missing." Like you know, when Rachel nominated Riley, they never showed us that, oh, that's because Ashley was planting seeds the entire time. And that's so important. There's so much shit that we didn't see about Ashley's game that now makes other people be like, she's the least deserving winner ever.
Yeah, man. That's exactly what I was going to bring up, is that like you do winners who have invisible games dirty. This season was especially egregious because usually they at least give like the final couple of people who have a chance of winning all the winners at it on some level, you know. Even Cam last season was getting some conversation where it's like, oh, he might snake Chelsea. Maybe that's what.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Like, it just didn't feel like, it felt like they were scrambling to create a narrative that would save their image for the season.
Yeah.
And it felt like they were put into a panic based on their own decisions. And guess what, dude? If you do less, you have to cover for less.
Yeah.
No one's going to blame you for the house guests acting badly. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, obviously. If they're like Riley or Pauly, we're going to be mad that you cast them in the first place. But
yeah. But yeah, like it was so clear that they did not expect Ashley to win, that they didn't think she was going to win. Maybe that they didn't even want her to win based on how like Julie was responding to her speech. Like it just felt like she wasn't given, you know, the same respect as a player. And it's like, no, she's not an amazing player. Yes, she's annoying in some ways, but you have to give her credit for the strategy and the seed planting that she did.
I think she is an amazing. I just don't think she's a perfect player.
She's not a perfect player, but it's like, okay, yes, she had people carry her for a little bit, but once they left, she was able to fly on her own. She clearly picked shit up from Rachel, and played, I feel like, a really great end game.
And they had a long runway to start making the Ashley edit happen, you know, because it started as early as the Riley eviction, you know, her influencing people. And you're doing your audience a disservice because people are pissed when they don't understand why somebody wins, you know. You're doing both the winner and the audience a disservice. We like it when the winner deserves to win.
Yeah.
And then you create a prevailing or like a personality that will stand the test of time when you do that, you know? Mm-hmm. A good player that deserves to win will always have more fan support than somebody who wins out of nowhere. Yeah. And that's what it feels like Ashley did, even though that's not the case, you know?
Yeah, because, I mean, when I saw Rachel put up Riley, I was 100% convinced, okay, production made her do this because they need to get rid of Riley because of the fucking conversations that are happening online. It's annoying and nobody wants to, you know, they don't want to deal with that, which is fair. But now that I know, okay, Ashley was planting seeds, hey, that would have been nice to see. That would make things make more sense to the viewer. Because most people aren't watching the live feeds. We're not even watching the live feeds. We're reading Reddits about what people are saying about what they've seen on the live feed, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, again, I'm not a person who thinks that you have to watch the live feeds to understand the Big Brother season fully, but it feels like more and more you have to at least consume some version of the live feeds because the two products are getting further and further apart, you know? Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of a shame. That's something that they're clearly making an intentional effort to do, is control the perception of the season, probably because we demand more as audience members, but yeah, it's just kind of a shame, you know, and we wish that it would be a little more laissez-faire on the end of the production, you know?
I feel like it's more work for them to edit it not in the same way that it is happening on the live feeds. Like, there's more shit that you have to, like, cut up and
I just think they're trying to,
other
like,
places.
There's so many things that are touchy subjects nowadays that they probably have to, like, skirt around a lot of stuff. And it's just bred this, like, I almost don't blame them because it is bred out of our need for better people on TV. You know, this is a recent development.
Yeah.
That Big Brother has been, casting pieces of shit the entire time. Okay.
Yeah.
Like season 2, there's a guy who had a knife to a girl's throat. Evil Dick was on the show. Like, clearly, personality defective people have always been on Big Brother. It's just that now we care much more.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can feel that in their casting practices. They're casting archetypes a lot more. They're casting recruits a lot more. You know, people they have more control over.
I will accept. Listen, I'll say it right here, right now. I will accept the terrible pieces of shits. I will accept the Pollys and the Rileys if what I am at least getting is an accurate representation. Like,
yeah,
I would rather get the pieces of shits if I at least know that they're being accurately represented on both the live feeds.
Yeah.
Because, like, I felt like they were trying to, like, hide a lot of the shit that Riley was saying. And, you know, it doesn't really matter because Catherine likes him. So it's like, whatever. I hope they're happy. But, you know, they were giving them kind of a weird edit. And then other people were like, well, look at all this shit that we're also seeing on the live feeds that feels weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There needs to
I don't know. That situation is so tricky, though. Like, I totally agree that Riley did not handle himself well. He was love bombing. He was threatening. He was way too fucking intense. But if the girl doesn't do anything, doesn't ask for help, you can't really help her, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, there just needs to be some level of cohesion, because then it's like I'm sitting at home wondering, like, okay, did production just get rid of Riley so they don't have to address this?
Yeah.
And made Rachel do this and fuck her game? No, it's actually Ashley was planting seeds.
Wow.
I feel like 16 was like a good example of where they had a balance. I feel like, although Zach Rance has come out since and been like, my NDA is expired, they were placing Donnie in the best spots on the competitions to help him win.
Yeah, I mean, I take that with a grain of salt because of the source, but
yeah, and also he was like, I'll tell you guys more stuff if I hit this amount of followers. So it's like, all right, You're a little bit clout chasing. You're a lot of bit clout chasing.
I mean, there's going to be some element of production influencing things. I can't, I'm a realistic person. I know that they're not just going to take their hands off their baby product, you know? Like, if I were in production's place, I would want to control as much of the narrative as I can, but the thing is, you're telling on yourself, dude. The live feeds exist. You can't craft a narrative when the live feeds exist. You have to understand the situation you're in, which is that you have to be truthful because there's people who are going to be watching the live feeds, literally transcribing shit.
Yeah, literally.
And there's been less of an emphasis put towards the human element, let's call it. Like house guest bonding, getting letters from their parents, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that detracts from the likability factor a little bit, because a lot of the things that endear us to these house guests is when you see them be human for a moment, you know?
Yeah, and we're seeing some of that in some of these, like, not as early seasons, but we're in, like, the 10s. We're rewatching some of the 10s and the teens. And even when watching 18, I'm like, oh, all right. Like, even though Paulie is a piece of shit, when he's breaking down, people are like, oh, all right, we feel bad for you, and let's all pause for a moment and be human. And there's several times where I've seen people be like, this is just a game. Like, pause. This is a game. Like, let's be human for a second. And I love those moments and those interactions. And we definitely didn't get any of that in 27. Like, they were showing us like weird random shit that I was like, I don't care about this. Like, show us other stuff.
It felt especially noticeable in this season because they made an entire extra hour of time specifically for shit like that, and we didn't even get as much as we did the previous season. You know, we got like the Adrian bread moment and like a lot of Ashley not knowing things, but like, it felt very...
I never felt like anybody liked each other because I wasn't seeing those interactions.
It's not even that though. It's like, like you were saying earlier, like some of those connections we weren't even aware of. Like, why were they close? You know?
I remember watching it and then you being like, oh, when did so-and-so become so close? I can't remember who exactly, but I do remember several times we were like, oh, when did so-and-so become so close? And when did this person become so close? And it's like, oh, they've been close the whole time.
They just weren't shown.
And plus it gives us, the audience, a break in between like the toxicity and the gameplay. Like, you need to have those moments that are kind of ha-ha, hee-hee, goofy. Yeah,
it's like the negative space in a painting so you can rest your eyes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all things aside, I think what the production needs to take away is that they need to do less.
I agree. Less is more.
I'm not saying don't do twists. Twists are fun. Sometimes they're fun, you know?
Yeah.
What you guys did with Blockbuster, I think, is a great addition to the game. How you guys did it in season 26 was excellent. You know, it didn't feel like it dragged. Maybe like a week or two too long, but it wasn't like noticeable enough to make my enjoyment any less. Just do less. I mean, the primary attraction of your show is not y'all. It's the house guests, you know?
Yeah, production only exists to provide a loose structure that allows the show itself and the cast members to thrive in a way that we like and are entertained by.
Yeah, just keep them alive, keep them from harming each other. Do your one or two twists so you can feel like you got your shit off, you know? And then leave everything else up to human chemistry. Is there anything else you want to mention?
This is not really relevant to any of the categories, but you did mention, like, we're not seeing people read the HOH letters anymore.
Yeah.
Or like the moments where they're like, who wants to see my HOH room? And I love that.
Well, that's got to do with production.
Yeah. And I love those moments because you also see moments where people are like, I have to go be fake happy for this person that I hate and I know is going to put me up. And then you get to like have moments like in 19 where Cody had to like go up and watch Paul be excited about his shit. Like, I love watching people have to, or like season 17 specifically, like all of the girls when Steve won and they're like, I can't stand, and then Johnny Mac was just like, look at them all over him, funny now, huh? I don't do a good impression of Johnny Mac. You do a much better one.
No, that was pretty good. Yeah, I mean the human element is sorely missed. 27 was missing that a lot, to be honest, now that I think about it.
Even though we described it as one of the most human seasons ever.
It is. Like, the human element in that way was present. You know, people being flawed and distressed and scared and horny. That was there.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, you know, there's no family time is what I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and take notes, y'all, because this is all very good shit. We're giving a free game, okay? Free game.
Free advice.
If you're a fan of the show, this is stuff that you should be echoing to your friends so you can sound smart and academic like we did.
Yes.
And yeah, should we play some games?
Game time.
All right. And first up, we're going to be building our ideal season of Big Brother out of the categories we talked about earlier, which are shelf life, strategic sophistication, human chemistry, cast likability, and production intervention. Okay? So we're going to be picking seasons for these individual attributes.
Yeah, we're going to throw these seasons in a pot and we're going to stir them and then it's going to produce the best season of Big Brother.
Yes, sir. Okay. You go first because I went first last week.
For production, I'm going to cast season 17 because I feel like they cut off their twists, like they didn't run that late.
Yeah.
They did have a lot of twists, but I feel like they didn't have anything that felt like super unfair. And I feel like their involvement in that season, like I feel like that was a season that they were like, we don't got to do anything. Just let Vanessa work.
Yeah. I mean, there was like the battle back. There was the twin twist.
Mm-hmm.
There was one other thing, right?
They had a handful of twists that season.
But none of it felt like super intrusive. It felt like at best it was like slightly altering the trajectory of the game. I was actually going to pick 17. So I don't have to pick production since you just got it. I don't have to pick production since you just got it. I will start with strategic sophistication.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to pick season 14.
God damn, that was my next pick.
It's kind of hard not to pick that one just because that was like Dan's. As much as it pains me that Dan didn't win that season, that was Dan's best showing. Because he actually, not that he didn't face adversity in his first season, but he fully was in danger this season. He was in a horrible position, and one thing after another, he just had to overcome, talk down, win a certain competition at a crucial moment. Like the strategy that he himself demonstrated that season was already impressive, but throw in what Boogie did and what Frank did and what Ian did, and what Brittany did and Janelle, like all of it was just so complicated because of the veterans that are in the house kind of coaching everybody. And I feel like that almost kind of carries over to this season because we see like a lot of people are learning the game through osmosis in that season too, you know, just by virtue of being interacting with these veterans. They're kind of picking up on certain things and becoming better game players. And a lot of these people had more staying power, I feel like, because of their tutelage.
I like that word, tutelage.
Yeah. And then for human chemistry, I'm taking 27. Vinny and Morgan, enough said.
Yeah, that's fine. You have that.
Yeah.
For human chemistry, I'm going to pick 26. I feel like that was a good season overall for human chemistry.
Yeah. I thought you would have taken 8.
For shelf life, I'm going to pick 8 because I feel like that season kept me entertained the entire way through, even if it was mostly because I was interested in some of the fucked up dynamics. Because that was the season that Big Brother was like, ooh, we're going to cast your enemies. And there was some like not important enemies. Obviously, the most standout relationship in there was the fucking dad-daughter that haven't talked in 2 years, but that was interesting the entire way through, and it was shocking that Dick won.
Yeah.
8 for shelf life.
Oh, is it my turn now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What pick am I on? I'm on my third pick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For my third pick, I'm gonna pick for cast likability. I am going to grab. I'm gonna grab 16, I think, because I mean that season's so likable. Multiple people have been featured on 2 or 3 seasons from that season. You know, like Derek. I can name all of the fucking prevailing personalities from that season, and how much success they've had after. So. I think that's a good season to pick for likability. And Donnie was on that season. He's one of the most likable people on Big Brother history.
He's probably one of the most likable people on this entire planet.
Yeah, just a sweet soul. And
he's Kelly Pickler's janitor.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And then for shelf life, I am going to pick season 11, which was the season that Jordan won. And I didn't really like that season. I didn't really particularly think the season was interesting all the way to the end in the way that I like, but it was interesting all the way to the end because all of the dominant players got taken out before the final 2, and then it was just 2 fucking useless people sitting in the final 2 chairs.
I know. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It was that was Jesse's season, if I remember correctly.
Yep, he got in the coup d'etat.
Yeah, and
he also low-key a cult leader that season, like
legit. Actually, yeah. If he made it further, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good one to pick for shelf life, just because nobody knew who the fuck was going to win between Jordan and, was her name Natalie? Yeah.
Yeah. Cappy.
No.
That's why she lost.
That's not Natalie.
Oh.
That's Yvette.
Yeah.
Completely different season.
I honestly confused them. Yeah, that season has a good shelf life.
Yeah.
And it was, I fucking love the part Jeff was like, why don't you take 5 minutes and then come back to me with a good insult?
We really let that line carry him too many years.
I know, like I rewatching was it the All-Star season that he was on made me not like him.
He's so aggressive, man. Weirdly aggressive towards girls.
For strategic sophistication, I'm going to pick BB-18 because it was a little bit all over the place, but I do feel like the gameplay was constantly interesting and loyalties were shifting all the time. Like I forgot about the rift that happens between Paul and Pauly, and I feel like people were constantly like trying to bring up other points, even if they were like, oh, I'm so clearly going home. Yeah,
people were fighting till the very end.
They were still fighting to the end. Like even like Pauly's last week, some of the points that he was making to James and Paul, I was like, honestly not, like, I don't like you and you're going home and I'm going to like that, but interesting points that you're bringing up. Those are fair. And
as much as Pauly like blew up his own game, he ran that house for the better part of like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, he was in control for a minute.
And it was clearly like a lot of intentional players because obviously there were a lot of vets, and even that moment where Paul and Meech and James cook up the idea to rattle Paulie right before the veto. Like that's something I've never seen before. Is like you're playing them. That's so mean, by the way. You're playing the emotional state of a player against them in a competition. Like that's so fucking cruel, but also cool.
I miss that in some of the seasons though. Like we used to have seasons that were like, oh, okay, I'm the HOH and my target this week is so and so. Therefore, I'm going to make them a have-not so that they are starving before the competition.
Yeah.
Like, it's not ethical to want to see psychological torture, but that is what Big Brother is supposed to be. Is an element of psychological torture.
1,000%. I mean, like maybe not to that extent where it's like depriving them of food, but I think within your power, you can. I think it's totally fine to try to shake somebody up before a challenge. I think that's totally within your rights as a Big Brother player.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
And for my final pick for cast likability, I'm gonna pick season 10. Even though not everybody was extremely likable, I feel like I enjoyed watching everybody. Everybody was a character, even from like the Rennies and the Jerrys.
It's the namesake of our podcast.
It's the namesake, Sooki Sooki.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go look up Rennie sleep talking.
You won't find it, but
you might. It's not my time.
I've tried to find it. I can't find it.
I'll fucking find it. I'll find it.
Yeah. That's a good pick, actually. Not as good as mine, but that's pretty good. Finally, for my final category, which is production intervention, I am going to put season 2. Because production didn't do shit that season, bro.
I know, they didn't
production
have the
didn't
veto.
intervene when fucking a guy was putting a knife to a girl's throat.
They're like, oh, you like that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we won't say anything.
We don't want that kind of Wild West, but we want more of that, okay? More of that.
Yeah. There is no production in that season. That's why it's good.
Yeah, there wasn't even a veto,
There's
dude.
no veto.
Yeah. Who do you think won? Who do you think built the better Big Brother season? Which Big Brother season do you want to watch? It's
mine.
Don't cast us.
Huh?
Give us Big Brother.
Yeah,
We'll run it better.
Yeah, make us the CEO of Big Brother. Make us the board of Big Brother. We're best. We know best.
All right, what's next?
Next up, Tian's going to be guessing the Big Brother player based on the historical figure.
Fucking old bitches.
Tian's going to be guessing the Big Brother player based on the old bitches.
Yeah.
First up is, I'm going to give you an easy one, the Messiah.
Jose.
There you go.
That was an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just said Jesus. I probably would have had a harder time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Hold on. I have to remember. Don't look. I know. Okay.
Da Vinci. So this could either be referencing their genius or it could be referencing the fact that they think very highly of themselves.
Da Vinci is an inventor, so you can
I
think about
thought
that.
you were saying Da Vinci. Funny.
Yeah, I am saying it funny.
Oh.
That's how those two white dudes say it. Da Vinci?
You're
Da
talking about
Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fucking confused by...
How I'm saying it?
Yeah.
Don't think about how I'm saying it.
Dan?
Nope. You got 3 guesses. I already gave you a hint that he's an inventor.
He's an inventor. Damn, I'm not going to get this one because I don't remember anyone who's an inventor. Can I have another hint?
It's definitely a player that we've mentioned already, that we've talked about.
Inventor?
Yes, I stumped you. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the inventor thing is kind of misleading me. Someone we talked about. Is it Paul?
Nope.
Yeah, one more guess.
You're like near. Ew. Ew. What is that?
It's my thinking noise.
How'd you do that? No, I don't like you. You sound like a bird. Colgate is like, Dad, are you dying?
Fuck. Is it Vanessa?
Nope. It's Derek because he is the inventor of his game.
Okay.
He's the first person
kind of
to do that.
But I get it. What's next?
Da Vinci? Napoleon Bonaparte.
Ooh, I mean, bunch of shorties on this show, but the most fresh on your mind, I'm guessing, is Paulie.
Yep. That's one of the correct answers.
He's probably the biggest example of a Napoleonic complex in the entire show.
Yeah,
and Napoleon definitely has an element of like, I'm insecure, so I have to conquer.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how insecure he is, you should read about his letters back and forth to him and his wife.
That's funny as
You
hell.
haven't written me in 4 days. I'm going to kill myself.
Dude, if Napoleon were nowadays, he'd be on Tumblr for sure.
Oh my God. He'd be an edgelord. No one understands my struggle. I must scorch earth to prove my worth.
Literally the first short king.
Yeah. Literally first short king.
Yep.
All right. Next up is William the Conqueror.
Anything I should know about him? Because I don't know about him.
I feel like his name is self-explanatory. Just somebody who's an absolute beast.
William the Conqueror.
He's the conqueror because he took over a lot of stuff.
Took over a lot of stuff. So is this Jag?
I will accept that answer, actually.
But there's another answer? Let me try to get the other answer then. Someone who's dominant. Conquers. So I'm not thinking Derek because he didn't conquer. He more influenced.
Mm-hmm.
Conquer gives me a vibe of like a competitor.
You're so close.
It's Cody then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody was the correct answer. I also would have accepted Mankenzie.
Yeah.
Or Jackson Mickey.
I guess then Janelle would also be a correct answer. Just anybody who's won that many comps.
Okay. Next up, Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
She's a saint.
I know who Mother Teresa is.
Low-key a cult leader. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Someone who's in control. Maggie Osborne.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she's our Mother Teresa.
Okay.
Okay. Finally, we have Queen Victoria. The first Queen Victoria. Actually, I think, has there been multiple Queen? There's only been one Queen Victoria. First up is Queen Victoria. She was the first longest reigning. Or no, wait. She broke Queen Elizabeth's record as a long reigning queen.
It's Rachel.
Yes.
You made these ridiculously easy.
I also would have accepted Nicole for that.
Yeah, they were easy and also there were multiple answers. You got to try to stump me more.
Well, I got you on some of these.
You got me on one. You did get me on one.
Yeah.
You got to step it up next time. I'm fucking nom 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 nom. I'm eating these up.
All right,
dude.
whatever, you're better at games and stuff. Maybe I should stick to guessing.
No, I want you to get me. I want you to have that feeling of getting me because it feels so good to get you. I didn't even flinch, dude. I win.
God damn it, I lose.
Love ya.
Love you.
Again, YouTube told me to nag you. Like, subscribe, and comment, or we don't get to be famous.